Howdy folks, Jay Boone down here at Emerald City Guitars for my pick of the day. Today I have a stunning instrument. So what we have here is an original 1958 Gibson Flying V. Now these you do not see often, and this in fact is the first original Flying V we've ever had in our inventory for sale. It sits in the showcase surrounded by beautiful gold tops. So if you're a local and you want to come down and check it out, come and see this iconic and super rare electric guitar. So this has a story with it that I can share with you. This came out of Texas and was bought originally by a guy named Don Doss. And Don owned this for many, many, many years. He was the original owner. And at some point in the career of this guitar, Don had cracked it at the heel here and did his own little wood shop repair there by putting 2 bolts in here to just solidify that after gluing it to make sure it didn't go anywhere. And it's solid. It's held up over the years and it tunes perfectly and plays fantastic. This ended up down in Nashville in a well-known guitar store down there that we admire very much, and it was bought down there from a local Northwest collector who in turn brought it into our store. He's one of those guys that shuffles the deck, and he decided to part with this beautiful original Flying V. This also has the original frets and the original nut, so right across the board this is in all original condition despite Don's little backyard repair there. So the Flying V was basically something that Ted McCarty of Gibson fame had a part in dreaming up and designing to get something more modern in the Gibson electric line. And so the early rumblings of this guitar were originated in 1957, where he brought forward the idea of the Flying V, what we now know as the Explorer, and the mythical modern guitar. The Flying V being one of the more radical out of those designs. They did less than 100 of these in the first run in 1958. And was not really well received back in those days. It was a little too radical for the public, and so it was kind of overlooked. But now it has become one of the most sought after and most expensive electric guitars that were ever produced. And here we are looking at one of them. So as you can see, 2 humbuckers. These are the original PAFs in there, untouched. You have the Corina wood body and neck, and Corina is very much like the mahogany family. It has those characteristics. Flip it over, the gold Clouson tuners with a single line. You can see that serial number up there at the point of the headstock. You've got the gold bridge, you've got the gold chevron here, and of course the volume tone control, 3-position switch, and that really radical looking pick guard. Note the little rubber skid plate they put on this, so if you're sitting down and playing it, it will kind of like cause a little traction on there and be less likely to slip off your leg as you're playing it. Brazilian rosewood fretboard with the dot inlays, and that really cool gold Gibson logo up there that you can see is really unique on the Flying V. Another notable thing to point out here is the original Flying V case, which is very important. If you own a Flying V, you have to have one of these. And we not only have the original case in fine condition, but we have a modern Gibson Flying V case as well, which actually is a little better fitting, more protective case than this one, but you gotta have this case. These cases are very valuable and very sought after by collectors. One other thing I might point out is that you do see some Flying Vs that came out later, I think as late as '63, that they're using parts, necks and bodies from the original '58 run, and they pieced them together and brought them out in '63. They'll have nickel hardware. I haven't seen one of those '63 models, but I know they're out there. I've seen them listed before, so a little bit different than this guy here, but still a super rare guitar and quite collectible. It's just amazing to hold one of these in my hands. They're such a part of my rock and roll upbringing. So just, what can I say about this thing? It's just an absolutely rare bird, fantastic guitar, plays and sounds incredible, as you're going to hear a little bit later here when Aaron Hiebert throws down on this Vox amp we have here. which is a hand-wired AC30 head, matching 212 cab, and the really neat Faun finish. So that's all from me on this Flying V, and I'm going to turn it over to Aaron and let him do his thing with it. So there you have it, folks. My pick of the day, an original 1958 Gibson Flying V, played through a box hand-wired AC30 and matching 212 cab and that beautiful Faun finish. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the video. We'll see you next time.